listen to me. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I say kill that weak version of yourself. That version of you, the one who keeps hitting snooze, who talks themselves out of trying, who overthinks everything until the moment is gone, that version is not you. That's your fear. That's your doubt. That's your excuse factory. And it has got to go. You want change? You want to feel powerful? Then let me be real with you. You're not going to think your way into it. You're going to act. You're going to make a decision right now, today, that the version of you who hesitates, complains, procrastinates, avoids, and shrinks, that version is done. That version of you, that version is soft. That version negotiates with discomfort. That version waits for motivation. But motivation is garbage if it's not backed by action. It fades. It disappears. But you are not garbage. You are built for more. You are capable of things you haven't even imagined yet, but not if you keep entertaining that weak voice in your head. You know what I do when that version shows up in my life? I shut it down in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I move, I speak, I act, I step into the next version of me. Not the fearful one, not the tired one, not the maybe tomorrow one. I move into the powerful version, the one that shows up, the one that does hard things, the one that doesn't wait for the right time. Because the right time is a myth. Let me say this loud and clear. Your weak self doesn't need your protection. It needs to be fired. That voice that says you can't, you shouldn't, you're not enough, that voice is a liar. And every time you let it win, you shrink, you fade, you vanish from your own life. But when you make a new decision to act boldly, to choose courage, to rise even when it's hard, you step into the life you were actually meant to live. So no more babysitting your fear, no more coddling your comfort zone. It's time to bury the version of you that's only living halfway. Because halfway won't get you the life you want. Halfway won't change your story. Halfway won't make you proud. You've got power in you. You've got fire. You've got genius. But none of it matters if you keep letting the weak version of you hold the mic. The weak version of yourself is always seeking comfort. It's the part of you that looks for the easiest path, avoids discomfort, and runs from challenge. It's wired to keep you safe, not to make you successful. That version of you will tell you to stay in bed when you know you need to get up. It will whisper lies like just this once or you'll start tomorrow. It sounds rational. It sounds protective. What is the exact reason why you're stuck? The strong version of yourself is built in the opposite conditions. It is born in discomfort. It is shaped every time you say no to your excuses and yes to what stretches you. It doesn't wait to feel ready. It acts, especially when it doesn't feel like it. The truth is, nothing extraordinary has ever come from staying comfortable. Growth is ugly. It's painful. It demands more than what feels good. But it's in that space where it's hard, where you want to quit, where your mind screams for relief. That's exactly where strength is forged. You can't build resilience if everything is easy. You can't build courage if you never face fear. You can't become unstoppable if you keep giving power to the version of you that flinches every time things get hard. And make no mistake, that version of you exists in your mind, waiting for the right moment to pull you back down. It shows up in your thoughts, in your habits, in your inner voice, and every time you listen to it, you reinforce its control over your life. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your training ground. When you feel that resistance to get up early, to push through the workout, to have the hard conversation, or to take that risk, that's the exact moment you're meeting the wall between your weak self and your powerful self. And the only way to break through that wall is to act. Not think about it, not plan it, act. Immediately, relentlessly, repeatedly. You don't become powerful in your mind by watching motivational videos or reading quotes. You become powerful by doing the work, by showing up when it's inconvenient, by saying yes when every part of you is screaming no, by choosing to do the hard thing when you could easily avoid it. That's how you kill that weak version of yourself. You don't negotiate with it. You don't debate it. You don't try to reason with it. You overtake it with action. You silence it by showing it proof that you're not the same anymore, that you're not available for mediocrity, that you're not backing down. There's a reason why discomfort is the birthplace of transformation, because comfort never demanded anything from you. It never pushed you. It never scared you. It never made you question whether you're capable. And that's why comfort will never make you grow. But when you consistently place yourself in situations that challenge you, something amazing happens. Your mind gets stronger, your habits get sharper, your confidence grows. You stop identifying with the weaker version of you and start becoming the person you were meant to be. The real power comes the moment you realize that the weak version of you isn't your identity, it's your history. And history does not have to dictate your destiny. The stronger version of you is not some mythical figure in the future. It's already inside of you, waiting. It's the part of you that keeps whispering, you're made for more. But you'll never meet that version unless you're willing to walk through discomfort like it's your job, because it is. Every single time you hesitate, procrastinate, or make an excuse, you're feeding the weak version of yourself. And that's not just a motivational idea, it's a fact of behavior. Every moment you delay action, every time you overthink instead of doing, you're reinforcing the habits of avoidance and fear. That version of you, the one that always finds a reason to wait, to stop, to not try, is growing stronger with every excuse you give it. And the scariest part, it's happening quietly, silently, one choice at a time, one skipped workout, one delayed project, one, I'll do it tomorrow. That's how the weak self gains control. What you do daily matters more than what you say you want. You might have big goals, big dreams. You might say you want to be disciplined, strong, focused, successful. But none of that matters if your actions are feeding the opposite. Your habits are casting votes. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're voting for the version of you that never levels up. Every time you put off what matters for what's easy, you're saying, I'm okay with staying this. And if that doesn't bother you yet, it should, because your future is being shaped by what you tolerate right now. So starving your weak self starts with small decisions made consistently and intentionally. It means doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. Because let's be honest, if you wait to feel motivated, you'll never do the hard things. Motivation is fleeting. It disappears the moment resistance shows up. But action builds momentum. Action overrides hesitation. And action, repeated enough, becomes identity. You stop being the person who puts things off and start becoming the person who follows through. Excuses feel good in the moment. They're a quick escape from discomfort. I'm tired. I don't have time. I'm not ready. They sound convincing because they protect you from risk. But every time you buy into those excuses, you're strengthening the part of you that fears responsibility. You're reinforcing a mindset of limitation. That's why change is hard, because change requires you to starve the familiar patterns that have kept you safe, even if they've also kept you stuck. It's not about being perfect. You will slip. You will have days where the weak voice wins. But the goal is to stop letting those moments define you. You have to catch yourself, interrupt the pattern, make the decision to act differently, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. That's how you start taking back control. That's how you weaken the hold of the part of you that's addicted to comfort and fear. You already know what you need to do. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. What you need is movement. You need to start. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's uncomfortable, start anyway. Because the moment you take action, even imperfect action, you break the cycle of delay. You take the wheel back from your weak self. You start feeding the version of you that is hungry for progress, not perfection, but progress. Every excuse you reject is a victory. Every time you move forward instead of stalling is proof that you're becoming stronger. So stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Stop looking for motivation like it's some magic switch. The power is in your hands right now, in your next decision, in your next action. Choose to act. Choose to follow through. Choose to starve the weak version of you and feed the one who is finally ready to lead. The weak version of you is desperate to survive. It doesn't want to grow, evolve, or break barriers. It only wants to stay safe. It's the part of you that clings to old habits, outdated beliefs, and comfort zones because those things feel familiar, and what's familiar feels safe. But the truth is, safety and survival are not the same as living. Not if you're settling. Not if you're staying small. That version of you isn't interested in excellence. It's only interested in avoiding pain, avoiding failure, avoiding the unknown. The powerful version of you is completely different. That version of you is built to lead, not just exist. It's built to thrive. It's not afraid of pressure. It welcomes it. That stronger self is hungry. Hungry to rise, hungry to change, hungry to break free from the limitations that have kept you stuck. But it can't emerge while you keep giving your energy, your attention, and your time to the weak self. Because the truth is, both versions are always present. Every day, both of them show up. One says, rest a little longer. The other says, get up, we've got work to do. One says, it's okay to quit, this is hard. The other says, keep pushing, you're almost there. One says, you can't. The other says, prove it wrong. And whichever one you feed wins. You have to stop negotiating with the weak version of you. Stop giving it time at the table. Stop letting it make decisions for your future because it's only trying to keep you small. That version of you makes you doubt yourself. It convinces you to settle for less. It shows up every time you're about to take a risk and whispers, what if you fail? And every time you listen, you reinforce a pattern of shrinking away from your potential. But the powerful version of you is not interested in playing small. That version isn't here to blend in. It's here to take ownership, to take action, to make moves that scare you because they matter. It's time to make a decision. And yes, it really is a decision to stop giving your energy to the survival mindset. You were not born just to get by. You were born to lead yourself out of fear and into a life that demands everything from you. That's where purpose lives. That's where fulfillment lives. But it doesn't come from wishing or hoping or waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from becoming, from showing up like the version of you who refuses to live in the shadow of your old self. If you want to change your life, you have to outgrow your excuses. You have to challenge the voice in your head that keeps telling you to wait, to settle, to slow down. That voice will never leave on its own. It will only get quieter when you drown it out with action. Loud, bold, unapologetic action. The kind that feels scary. The kind that moves you from who you've been to who you're meant to be. You don't owe anything to the version of you that's held you back. You don't owe comfort your loyalty. You owe your future your discipline. You owe your vision your consistency. You owe your best self the decision to show up, to speak up, to rise up every single day, even when it's inconvenient. You already have everything you need to become the powerful version of you. The only thing standing in the way is the version you've been keeping alive out of habit. Kill it, bury it, outwork it, outgrow it, and step fully into the leader, the fighter, the force you were always meant to be. You don't need more time. You don't need a better plan, a clearer path, or perfect conditions. You need one thing, a decision. Everything changes the moment you decide, not when you say you want change, not when you write down your goals. Change begins the exact moment you draw a hard line in the sand and say, I'm done being who I was. The weak version of you is obsessed with delay. It tells you you're not ready, that you need to wait until the timing is right, until the fear goes away, until life feels more stable. But the timing will never be perfect. Fear doesn't leave. Stability doesn't show up on command. And if you keep waiting, your life will keep slipping by. Action is the cure. Not overthinking, not planning endlessly, not seeking the approval of everyone around you, just one simple, firm decision followed by immediate action. And here's the truth. Most people don't want to admit. You already know what you need to do. You know the habits you need to break. You know the actions you need to take. You know the voice you've been ignoring, the idea you've been sitting on, the changes you've been avoiding. It's not a lack of clarity. It's a lack of decision. And every time you delay making that decision, you give power to the weaker version of you. You see, the weak version waits. It loves to stall. It lives in someday. It says, let's think about this a little longer or maybe next week. And that version of you is subtle. It sounds reasonable. It tells you that taking time is wise, that maybe you should play it safe. But what it's really doing is keeping you stuck. And you don't need more of that. You don't need more reflection. You need movement. And movement starts with a choice, a clear, no turning back choice that says, this ends now. The strong version of you is already there underneath the excuses and delays. It's the voice that says, start now. It's the energy that rises up when you stop talking yourself out of action. That version of you doesn't need more time to think. It needs 5 seconds of courage. 5 seconds to speak up, to stand up, to move forward. Just 5 seconds to step past the doubt and into the decision that will change your momentum. People think they'll feel ready eventually. They think the fear will fade or that motivation will arrive and push them forward. But motivation is a myth if it's not paired with discipline. Motivation shows up after you act, not before. It's the reward for movement, not the fuel. And that's why the decision comes first. You make the choice, you take the step, then the confidence, the clarity, the momentum, they follow. But none of them come to the version of you who keeps putting things off. They come to the version who acts, who decides, who moves, even when it's messy and uncomfortable. You are always one decision away from changing everything, not 100, one. The moment you stop entertaining your fears and excuses, the moment you stop buying the lie that you need more time, that's the moment your life shifts. It's not about how long you've waited. It's about what you're going to do now. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need all the answers. You just need to decide. Decide to show up differently. Decide to think differently. Decide to act like the person you're becoming, not the person you've been. That's how you kill the weak self, not by thinking about it, by choosing, then doing. You can't step into your next level until you bury the version of yourself that's addicted to playing small. That version isn't weak because it lacks potential. It's weak because it refuses to demand more from life. It settles, it avoids. It hides behind excuses and masks fear as logic. It convinces you that staying small is smart, that shrinking back is wise, that low expectations are realistic. But what it's really doing is robbing you of growth. Every time you choose to play small, you're not protecting yourself, you're limiting yourself. And eventually, if you're not careful, you start to believe that small is all you'll ever be. That's not who you are. Deep down, you know it. There's a voice in you that keeps asking for more. It's the part of you that imagines a bigger life, dreams of taking bold steps, and envisions a future that's more powerful, more meaningful, more alive. But you can't reach that future if you keep clinging to the old identity that's too afraid to stretch. Transformation isn't just about building something new. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you. And the person you were yesterday, the one who tolerated mediocrity, feared failure, and chose comfort, is not qualified to lead you into the next chapter. You cannot level up without sacrifice. You have to give up your need for approval. You have to give up your fear of discomfort. You have to give up the lies that say you're not good enough, not smart enough, not ready. That voice inside, the one addicted to playing small, it thrives on hesitation. It grows every time you say, maybe later, or who am I to do this? And as long as you keep entertaining it, you'll keep living below your potential. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to water yourself down so other people can feel comfortable. You're here to step into the fullness of who you are. And that means outgrowing the version of you that thinks playing it safe is a strategy. Playing it safe is a trap. It's disguised as wisdom, but it's fueled by fear. And fear has no place in a life built on purpose. You can't have bold results with a timid mindset. You can't walk in power while dragging around the weight of who you used to be. Your next level demands a new version of you, one that makes decisions without doubting, one that takes action without needing permission, one that shows up even when it's hard, even when it's awkward, even when it's scary. And yes, it will be scary. Growth always is. But fear is not the enemy. Inaction is. Staying stuck is. Repeating the same small patterns and expecting a big life, that's the real threat. So what does it mean to bury the small version of you? It means you stop giving it airtime. You stop repeating its stories. You stop letting it vote on your future. It means you recognize that identity is a choice. You can choose to show up like the person who's done playing small. You can choose to make moves that stretch you, scare you, test you. And in those moments, the old self starts to fade. Every bold decision you make becomes a nail in the coffin of the version of you that settled. You're not obligated to stay the same just because it's familiar. You're allowed to rewrite your story. You're allowed to rise. You're allowed to take up space, but only when you stop carrying the dead weight of who you no longer want to be. The next level of your life is not going to make space for your fear, your excuses, or your comfort zone. It's reserved for the version of you that's ready to stop shrinking and start leading. You don't step into that level by waiting. You step into it by letting go. Let go of small. Let go of safe. Let go of the version of you that's already had its time. You've got more in you. But first, you've got to bury what's holding you back. And it all comes down to one truth. The version of you that's been holding back, playing small, hiding behind excuses, that version has to die for the real you to rise. You don't need more time, more motivation, or more validation. You need a decision, a line in the sand, a moment where you say, enough. Enough with the hesitation. Enough with the fear. Enough with the patterns that have kept you stuck. Because every time you choose action over excuse, every time you push past resistance, every time you lead instead of survive, you are killing that weak version of yourself and stepping fully into your power. This is not a one-time transformation. It's a daily choice. So stop waiting to feel ready. Start becoming. Decide now, move now, lead now, and don't just imagine the life you want. Build it one fearless step at a time. Thank you.